AC, you all have had another wait, but just like last series, you kind of knew it was going to be one of these two teams when you learned it was San Antonio. What's kind of the focus heading into this series?
Yeah, I mean, one, just staying, mentally and physically prepared. When you have that long of a break, there's always just, a professionalism you need to take into it to stay locked into the goal and, kind of the focus you need this time of year. And then just preparing for a really good team. I don't think anybody else won 60 games this year, right? It was just us and them. So, based on records, it was the two best regular seasons this year. So we know they're a good team. We have a lot of respect for them. From what they've been able to accomplish. Just preparing for a war. They're a good team. We're a good team. So it's gonna be good basketball to be played.
Coming into the season, you and all the guys just kept talking about how you had a hunter's mindset. What's allowed you all to maintain that competitive edge, and what have you all done the last few days to kind of maintain that fire?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of a pillar for the success we've been able to have. Is everybody on the team kind of has that same mentality, individually and then collectively. So not much changes in these days off. Some of the days you take, get away and recover physically and mentally, and then the other days that you're in the gym, you're locked in, ready to go.
Considering how well both the teams have done this year and how intense things got with them this season too, is this rivalry status, or how would you characterize this?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't know how many times these teams have played in the postseason or anything. For this to just start, you can call it what you want. Y'all are the media, and y'all get to label it. For us, it's just about going out there and trying to win basketball games.
Obviously, it's a team with a lot of talented players, but also high IQ players. A team that's not going to beat itself. Can you kind of just speak to how fundamentally they are, how fundamentally sound they are, and how much of a challenge that presents?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke on it. They won 62 games for a reason. They didn't just roll the ball out and get lucky and win 60 games in the NBA. That's a feat to be accomplished, and you don't do that with just physical talent. There's some smarts that go into it. There's some IQ. They're a really well coached team as well. Their bench has a lot of guys that have been around the league and know a lot of things about basketball. So them being able to implement that and then get better as a team through the year has been it's worth note and interesting to watch because, that's kind of what the idea of us and a lot of teams around the league want to do. You want to be trending towards the end of the year, continue to get better and elevate yourself as a team and evolve. And I think they've done that.
Alex,
you guys have had injuries and things like that, so there has been some adversity, but in terms of losses, there really hasn't been a lot the last couple of years. The fact that these guys did go 4-1 against you, does that give them a little extra chip that maybe sometimes doesn't need to be there with you guys?
Talking about for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it took losses to get you to be a great team, a lot of teams would be great teams by now. That's not really what it's about. It's about going to work each day, showing up, being professional, being committed to being competitive every single day you step on the court. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for us that's been able to continue our success in these last couple of years.
What's the biggest thing?
What's the biggest thing you have to do? They're guards and wings. I mean, you guys had a lot of that depth. They have depth. So what's the biggest thing that you have to do against the wings?
Play better than them?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's classic good, like winning basketball. It's like protect the paint, get back in transition, limit second shots. They're a team much like us. If you give them multiple opportunities and give them cracks, they're a good team and they're going to make you pay for them. So just being really sharp with the stuff that I think we've been good at in class.
Alex, with this group, how clearly at the start of the year were roles sort of laid out for players, and how much of it was more organic, like figuring out like, this is my lane on the team and I'm going to accept it?
I mean, most of the teams are the same. I don't think we added anybody new that's played heavy minutes for us this year besides maybe Jared, in the middle of the year. So we have a pretty good understanding of it. Obviously, there's some evolution to, guys go from 22 to 23 and their game's getting better and they're getting better as players. It just kind of adds more just more ways and different angles that you can attack as a team. Like Jay Will's played really well this year. I think he's played better than he did last year. Jared's been a great addition for us. Joe's played better this year. I think he got better. You could go through the list, like a handful of players outside of, the guys that are making max contract money. You have room to improve your role, give yourself more minutes just based on how much you can add to your game. And, kind of what we've been talking about, the competitiveness of each guy, just with himself, to want to get better, to want to be a better player is high on this team, and I think that's probably why you've seen a lot of success from us.
You mentioned it, like, I mean, sometimes though, as younger players get better, like they want more from themselves, and like you guys have so much talent, like there might not be volume in the same way. Why has this group handled that well?
We got good people. Sam does a great job of bringing the right kind of people into the team and the organization. If you're, we have a big, focus on if you want to achieve stuff individually, awards, contracts, you have to do it through team success. And that's kind of something that I mentioned to guys too when they, at least when I first get to know them, it's like winners get paid. If you're on a winning team, you get paid regardless of what the situation is, whether it's with the same team or with another team. If you're on a losing team, that can't always be the truth. So just the buy-in from everybody, is kind of what you need, and like I said, Sam's done a great job of bringing people into this building that are committed to that.
How rare is it to have that kind of chemistry where up and down the lineup it's so selfless?
Yeah, it's pretty rare, at least for professional sports, in a sense of all the things we just talked about. Individual accolades that you're striving for, contractual stuff, you're trying to take care of your family, take care of people in your lives and set yourself up for generational wealth. It is rare, and like everything I just said, like hats off to the guys that come in every day and work that aren't the max players, myself included. Just knowing that the team is the main objective, and there's some stuff along the way that you can pick up as well.
Why does that work here? All 30 teams say the main thing is the main thing.
People in the building. People in the building.
Alex, in your experiences guarding Wemby, what are the obvious challenges that he presents to?
Yeah, he's 7'3" and he can dribble and shoot. Yeah, sure, 7'5", sure. It's all, once you get over 7'1", 2, it's kind of all the same. He's a talented guy. Obviously his physical stature is one of the key weapons that makes him really hard to guard. And through the year, I think I've seen him pick up the pace a little with reads and just figuring out how he can be effective. So. He's a really good player. He gets within 10 feet of the basket. It's a tough time, so just trying to limit that.
Jay, well, in a matchup where they've got every time they've got a big on the floor, they're trying to keep that guy low, try to protect the rim. How critical, from your standpoint, is not just your spacing out on the perimeter, but your movement as well?
Yeah, it's important, of course. They're very good at bumping the big low. Of course, they have one of the best shot blockers in the league on their team, and both of their bigs are really good in the paint. So it's very important, just playing our game, just trying to get to what we want to get to.
And then from the very beginning of the season, you guys talked about wanting to be the hunters and being the aggressors night in and night out. How did you manage that during the course of a long season, and what's been key here to maintain that kind of competitive edge and fire while you've had days off?
Yeah, just knowing what the main goal is. Of course, we got to experience it last year, and we all kind of are hungry again to be able to experience it again. So as long as we know we're not hunting anybody, we're hunting our best selves. So as long as we keep that mindset, we stay the hunter.
Okay, well, obviously the regular season is what it is, but the season series with them specifically has all this skewed data, this guy in, this guy out. AJ is like a different player than he was. Then what actually do you take away from the regular season series when you look back on it?
Honestly, nothing. The playoffs is such a different monster. It's a different game. You're never playing a team this many times in a row in the regular season. The calls are different. Guys play harder. The defense is different. Offense is different. So everything's different. So it's a whole different game. So there's not a lot that we're really just dwelling on from the regular season.
Mark mentioned yesterday that the beauty of competition is overcoming challenges. Obviously, you guys can't control who you're going to face, but with it being San Antonio, a team that's also 60-plus wins, just how much do you look forward to that challenge as a competitor?
Yeah, I'm super excited. They're a competitive team. Every time they see us, they want to compete at a high level. So it's super fun. It's super fun to be able to compete against a really good team, and I'm looking forward towards it.
Last year when Shea won MVP, you guys all got watches. Obviously, he's been a leader in the clubhouse for a while. It's going to get announced tonight. Has there been any lobbying on potential gifts this year for you guys?
Might have threw out a couple ideas here and there, but we're honestly just happy. We're happy to be a part of it. Playing with a great We'll see. I'm excited.
You had pretty big game against the last time. You had a lot of guys out, points, rebounds. Anything you remember about that game that you take into this series?
What game
Well, the game you had a bunch of guys out
in San
in
Antonio?
San Antonio, yeah.
I mean, honestly, not really. I'm just gonna be a confident player. That's it, really.
What about this is the standpoint of you played these guys? They kind of use you as a measuring stick. Is that a compliment to you guys?
I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know how I look at that. But
It's
at the
obviously
end,
get up for it.
yeah,
The season they did.
yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, every team in the NBA is a really good team, and you should wake up to play every game. I think that's something I've said throughout my whole career is that you can't disrespect any team. And obviously, they're a proven team. They have however many wins this season. They have great players on their side of in their jersey. So we just got to go out there and play, and it's gonna be a fun, competitive series.
Anything else?
You sort of mentioned this sort of thing that's triggered in them when they play you guys. I imagine it's the same for you guys with them. With Chet specifically, I mean, he's been competing against Victor since they were 16, 17. I tend to see that they don't even mention each other in press conferences. Like, what sort of changes in Chet when he's lined up against a guy that good?
Honestly, from my point of view, like nothing. I think Chet, he's an all-NBA, all-defensive guy in this league. He's an all-star, and every night, regardless of who we're playing, who's he's lined up against, he takes the same approach. And I don't think anybody on our team just like wakes up because we're playing the Spurs. We're waking up because we're in the playoffs, and we want to be our best selves, and we know what we have to do to be that.
Thank you. Mark, as a team, your offensive efficiency has actually gone up in the playoffs. One of just two teams whose offensive efficiency has been better in the playoffs than in the regular season. I know that doesn't necessarily carry over, but do you feel like there are lessons about attacking playoff level defenses that your guys have gleaned over the course of time that have helped them so far this playoffs offensively?
It's twofold. There's always a shot variance, so to not acknowledge that would not complete the picture, but we just try to control everything we can control. I think we've developed attacks over time against different schemes that we've seen. We've had the same team and we've seen the same stuff over a long period of time, and we've just tried to hone it. Doesn't mean there won't be another problem around the corner, but we've also honed a process of solving problems together. So I think a combination of that has helped us have solid attacks. I thought we got better in each of the two series going against what they threw at us, and that'll be our challenge again in this series.
Mark, what stands out about the Spurs and how they improved since the last 2 times y'all played?
I mean, just like any really good team. I mean, they're really good on both ends. They've got great top end talent. They got great depth. They can attack you in a number of ways on both ends of the floor. And so the better the team is, the more you have to be able to handle, and the slighter the margin for error gets. And so it's a team that we have high respect for and understand what they're capable of.
Mark, you have an MVP already, a guy who's presumably about to become a teacher. You have guys on max deals, guys that are going into max deals. And ever since you've been here, the taproot has been sum of the parts. When guys accomplish certain things, the sum of the parts doesn't always matter so much. Why have you guys been able to buck the trend that so many other teams sort of haven't been able to?
I'm not going to compare. I think for our team, it comes down to the quality of the guy. It's that simple. If it's a question about Shea and his ability to stay plugged into the team despite individual success, it's the quality of the guy. If it's Dub and Chet being all-stars and all NBA level players, it's the quality of those guys. And then I get a lot of questions about the depth of the team and guys that could be playing bigger roles than they do, and their willingness to stay committed to the team. And that comes down to the quality of the guy. It always starts there. I think we try to have an environment just like every other team that emphasizes probably the same stuff as every other team. But I think when you have players that come from these types of circles that have this type of makeup, and that build something together that they hold each other accountable to and responsible for, I think that's what it comes down to.
His first year here, he was with Chris and Dennis Schroeder. And could you tell that then his first year here was only his second year in the league at that time?
Tell what?
That he was a team guy. That he was.
Oh yeah.
Those kind of things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of the bones of who he is was in place. I think that's true for everybody. I mean, these are young players, but they're not young people. Like your personality and your values and all that stuff that gets formed well before you ever go to college or go to the NBA. And so, who he is has never changed. I think he's touched up the edges on his game and on his leadership and on his perspective, just like anybody else that's coming of age. But all the qualities that he had, Dort had, are the same back then as they are now.
Is it kind of, I don't want to say it wouldn't matter. I know it wouldn't matter to you, whoever. If it's Western Conference Finals, you'll play whoever's out there. There haven't been too many series in NBA history with 62 and 64 win teams out there. Is it fitting, given the way the year has gone, that you two did cross paths in the postseason?
I mean, it's fitting because both teams are on their way here. I mean, that's how it works. You got to win 4 games to advance, and then you got to win 4 games again. And if you do that, you're in the Western Conference Finals, and that's what makes it fitting. But like I said, it's a team we have a ton of respect for. We know what they're capable of. It's an opponent that is incredibly worthy, and that we're going to need to be our best to beat, and we understand that, and have been preparing for that throughout the season for any series. And we started that preparation today as it relates to the Spurs specifically.
To the point of you getting questions about guys that could play bigger roles, has part of your job become learning what personalities may be better suited to go a game or two without playing, like that sort of thing?
Well, I mean, that's never part of the equation in the decision. The decision's made on merit, and it's made on what's best for the team. But from there, how I communicate with them and the type of the way we wrap our arms around every player is not one size fits all. I mean, we definitely try to understand the person and make sure we're meeting them on a human level, and that's no different when it's talking about a player with any role. And that's not just the guys that may not play in a specific game or series or whatever. That's if I'm going to change somebody's rotation, if their role is going to change slightly in a game, we're going to ask them to do something different than they've done. We always try to communicate that honestly and in a way that fits who they are. We've learned them over time.
Yeah, I know Sam's done a perfectly fine job of, in almost 20 years, building an identity here separate of his past experience. But do you, in getting to know him and seeing the infrastructure he built, do you sort of see San Antonio influence, like that specifically that time informed what he's done here?
He'd be better to speak on that than me because I've never been in San Antonio. He has. But, I do think when you are young and forming an understanding of whatever, the environment you're in matters. And one thing I'm grateful for in my life is early on in coaching, I saw what it should look like. That's the way I'd put it. Like I saw what it should look like, and that becomes a little bit of a North Star. And I'm a lot different than some of the coaches I've worked with. And just as I know Sam is probably a lot different from the people he worked with. But being in a place where you know what it should look like is a powerful marker. And I don't want to speak for him. Like I said, that's his experience, and he can speak much better on that than I can. But that would be my guess, is that he saw a lot of what it should look like when he was there.
You saw what it looked like from Sam, you mean? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like my earliest experiences, like being a manager at UConn. I mean, the first college practice I was ever in was like Ben Gordon and Emeka Okafor and his monster team. Like I saw a well-run machine at that time, and that could be a lot different if you see something different.
Anybody else?
Thank
you. Yep, thank you as well.